Hello everyone and welcome back to Lotus Path Holistics. My name is Leonardo and today we're going to talk about the next video in my Spiritual Life Lessons video series, Listening to Your Intuition. So last week we talked about the inner gift of creativity. This week we're going to talk about the inner gift of intuition. Now, inner gifts are, as I mentioned before, thoughts and intention, natural abilities, and inner circumstances that we have from when we're born, and then they get produced in different ways when we grow up. So intuition is one of those gifts. Intuition is something that we're born with. And intuition is about the universal consciousness that we all feel connected to. Some people call it the universal mind, but it's about the inner knowing, the inner truth, the truth-seeking abilities that we have as individuals. Our ability to know that there's something going on or there's something happening from long distances. These are our intuition, our deeper inner voice. And our intuition is built with those beautiful gifts of that inner knowing and also this intuitive senses, that we feel. But the curse of intuition is illusion. And how illusion can affect our spiritual gifts is, we have this deeper intuition in our life, but we tend to get lied to throughout time. And we tend to have to deal with different people's opinions and different institutions like, religion or science, and they give us ideas, but it's intuition that we have to use to break through that. We have to break through the illusion, and that is a gift in its own self. So spiritually, intuition is that deeper gift that leads towards advanced abilities. Advanced abilities like psychic abilities, which include, the clairs, like clairvoyance, and being able to perceive things from far. I myself, as a clairvoyant, I know this very well. There's other types of sensations, that you can definitely pick up as a intuitive spiritual person. We're definitely going to discuss that very much in this video. So intuition is definitely that inner universal nature that you have as a person. And the power of intuition actually comes from the ability to access your inner knowledge and your inner wisdom. That ability is about your heightened intuition. It's your ability to be able to use that in a proper manner to bring down the information into yourself. Now, intuition is like that immediate understanding and knowing of things in your life and things that people feel or something that's right versus wrong, just with your conscious intention without having to use reasoning. And intuition is just like listening to that inner voice that you've always had deep within you. And that inner voice can also help you bring control of things in your life. So in past lives, I'm a past life therapist, and what I've seen about intuition is in past lives we used to have let's say more open version of intuition. Intuition was just part of our life. It wasn't really different. Intuition was just more fluid. We were connected to it all day, every day. Intuition was like a whole other way of communicating with the universe around us, and we just kind of, did it in our daily lives. And a lot of spiritual people do know this in reality. Everything has a spiritual aspect, and you pick up on those with your intuition, and you pick up on your senses. That itself in past lives was very simple. This life we have to work towards it. It's about listening to that gut feeling. In today's world, listening to that gut feeling is not the only thing you have to do to properly manage and use your intuition. Listening to your gut feeling is the beginning. And in this life, you have to use trust. You have to learn how to trust yourself and get through the illusions, through the curses of this gift. And once you get through those illusions, then you open up to the next stages of intuition and you actually start to manifest in a proper way. So there are 3 initial steps to cultivating your intuitive abilities. These initial steps I have put together, and it is about what you need to do to make sure that your intuitive abilities, your psychic abilities, can actually be accessed in a proper way. Because a lot of people, they will tap into their intuitive abilities, but then they'll lose them. And then they'll gain them, and then they'll lose them. But it's a problem, and you need to solve it. It's a sign that there's an imbalance that you need to face. And let me outline to you in these 3 initial steps how to actually keep these gifts, to bring them out, to activate them and awaken them, but also to keep them. So the first of these steps is number 1, accept your intuitive nature. Now, what I mean by this is about accepting your intuition as a gift, accepting that you've always had it, and that, it's the first key to actually awakening it, because you understand that intuition is deep within and it's always been there, You just can't hide the knowledge that you have. You have this inner knowing, don't hide it. This inner truth, don't hide it. And you have to get out of your comfort zone in order to access your intuition in the proper way. So start to just trust your spirit. Trust your spirituality is leading you in the right direction. That's your first intuitive step. You are on the right path and you have to believe that. You have to have faith in it. Faith is very connected to intuition. And then you just need to accept that while knowing that you have this intuition all along, that you have a connection to everything. Accept not only your nature as an intuitive spiritual person, but accept that this connection has been with you all along in the universe. Everything around you, everyone, every object, all connected to you. Embracing that intuitive nature is so key to beginning that step, because some people I see, they try to embrace their intuitive abilities and they never actually accept themselves as intuitive and universal. Accept that first. Number 2 is about embracing your spiritual senses. Now, what I mean is that you need to embrace all the senses that you have and the spirituality that is ingrained in those senses. As a spiritual person, you must know this. And it's very much about, you are a universal being and you have to understand that. You are a universal person. You're connected to everything, like I just spoke about. But there's intuitive connection to everything that is. So you have to tap into that. You have to open your heart, open your mind, open your soul to feeling everything and everybody. You have to tap into that intuition by connecting to everything. It's super key to take that initial step to open yourself up. It might be hard because intuitive people can definitely be sensitive, but just open yourself up, okay? And you have to open your mind to your spiritual senses, which includes, like I said, clairvoyance, which is seeing beyond, clairaudience, which is about hearing things, hearing from different dimensions, and, clairsentience as well. It's really about embracing those psychic abilities and then enhancing them to a higher level. And these gifts are usually left unnoticed, but you can embrace them. Embracing spirituality can definitely enhance those senses. And you just have to accept that everything that you feel and you see in your imagination, it's all real at some point. It's key to understanding spirituality. So embrace your spiritual senses, and embrace it. After you embrace and accept your intuitive nature, open up your senses. You got to be a little bit vulnerable in this step, but it can work. So then the third and final step to truly cultivating your intuitive abilities is becoming a giver and a receiver. Well, what I mean by this is when you have something, you got to keep it. It's like a muscle you have to work out. And to open the doorways to your intuitive gifts, you have to understand that this doorway goes both ways. It's not just giving it's just not receiving. It's more. You have to open the door to both realms, the physical and the spiritual. And since you know that it goes both ways, you have to understand that it starts with receiving. When you awaken your intuitive gifts, you will start to receive messages, receive all those gifts that just have been sitting dormant. But, the true spiritual power of the soul and the universal consciousness comes down when you start to give it. So when you receive the energy from the universe, you have to give it. When you receive your gifts and find out what you're good at in your spiritual gifts, you have to start using them. Start practicing. Start perfecting your gifts. Start to put it together in a manifesto to fulfill a mission in this life. Figure out what that is and take action. You are not just a receiver of spirituality. You are a giver. And if you don't give your spirituality, you won't receive it back in return. It's a give and take. It's a cycle. So do these 3 steps. Accept your intuitive nature, embrace your spiritual senses, and then not only receive, but give. Start giving that spirituality back. Start using those abilities. And you will see that your intuitive abilities will massively increase, okay? So we will talk about this. Me and Luna Dawn, we're going to talk about this on Facebook Live, on our Spiritual Life podcast. And we'd love to have you by to ask some questions and also to get deeper into the conversation about intuition and listening to your intuition. Because intuition, we all have it, but how do you listen to it? Let's discuss that. So we look forward to seeing you guys at 8 p.m. on Friday. And Facebook Live, don't forget. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be speaking to you soon. Thank you.